Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect 2. My name is Pete and today we complete our last trip to Omega, for quite a while at least, where we will complete one more small quest and also do some shopping. Now, in the last episode we successfully recruited Garrus, our old Turian squad member from Mass Effect 1 who up until that point went by the name of Archangel, and recruiting him has also completed another major plot mission, which means back here on the Normandy we have now unlocked a few more conversations. Not everyone has something new to say, but quite a few of our squad members do, and we will start things off in the armory where we can have a quick chat with Jacob.
Commander, can I help you with something?
Under the investigate option we won't see anything new, but the option above will get us a bit further.
I'm more interested in just talking for a bit.
If you want, Commander. Cerberus has ranks, but it's not the Alliance. No rules about fraternization. Your boat, your call. You want to get friendly with everyone? That's your business.
Relax, Jacob. I'm just interested in what makes you tick.
Anyone else said that, I'd walk away. Most Cerberus people try to play like the elusive man, hiding bullshit behind a smile. But you? I like what I've seen. I'll give you a shot. What do you want to know?
Now, as always, we want to make sure to pick the option on the left first. The other two will move the conversation forward and there will be no getting back here.
Anyone waiting for you back home?
Only child and no extended family. Never settled down. Didn't seem fair with this job. But you can't miss what you never had.
Now, on the right side here we have two dialogue options, and unfortunately they are mutually exclusive. We could either ask Jacob why he's so quick to trust us, or we could go for the slightly more juicy option and ask him about his history with Miranda. In the grand scheme of things it doesn't really matter much, but I feel like this latter option gives us a bit more to work with.
I know you and Miranda worked together. I got the impression it might have been more than that.
It got a little close. Then it got really far apart. The rest isn't your business, Commander.
Now, despite what it looks like there are no morality points to be had here, we could however declare our interest in Miranda, but I don't really think we're going down that path, and I'm also not really interested in forcing the issue either, so let's respect the man's privacy. After all, he has already told us more than he needed to.
Consider it dropped. I trust you to keep everything professional, Jacob.
Thanks. That always bugged me about the Alliance. They didn't let people handle their own problems. Cerberus isn't any better. They just put more effort into hiding how much they spy on you.
Now, this dialogue option here, by the way, would have popped up regardless of which choice you made earlier, and we will actually go with the slightly more confrontational option, I'd say, simply because I am personally not a huge fan of that let them spy we have nothing to hide mentality, and honestly I would assume that Shepard isn't either.
They'll have something to see by the time we're done.
No doubt. We'll be right in the middle of whatever goes down. Anyway, I should get back to prep. Nice talking to you, Shepard. Let's do it again sometime.
Alright, first conversation down and we have a few more to go. This one already revealed a few interesting details about Jacob, and the next one will be pretty interesting as well as we now head over to Mordin. But before we talk to him, we can quickly complete one more research project. Under armor upgrades, we can find the tech damage upgrade for 500 element 0. This one will give our entire squad a 10% tech power damage bonus, and since we can easily afford that at the moment, let's research it immediately. And here we are, research complete, time to talk to Mordin.
Shepard, how can I help?
And once again, just like with Jacob, we will not find anything new under the investigate option, so let's get straight to business with the one above.
Have you got a minute to talk?
Yes, would like that actually. Talked about work earlier. Time with Special Tasks Group studying genophage. Wasn't entirely honest. Lie of omission. Also, other kinds. Need to clear the air. Mission too important to keep secrets. Work on genophage was more than just study.
Alright, quick and easy morality choice here. Suspecting Mordin of not telling us the truth before would earn us 2 renegade points, but we'll keep it simple and only ask him what he did for 2 paragon points.
What was the Special Task Group doing with the Krogan genophage?
Study at first, as I said, but uncovered surprising data. Krogan population was increasing at faster rate than expected. Krogan were adapting to genophage, overcoming disease.
Now, Mordin here speaks of adaptation, but of course there might have been other reasons for the population increase, so let's just mention that to make absolutely sure.
Maybe they were just having a lucky year. Or fewer mercs left, meaning more Krogan were left to repopulate.
Please, Shepard. Social environmental concerns accounted for. Not an undergraduate. Population spike caused by adaptation to genophage. No other possibility.
Well, since adaptation seems to be the reason, how did the Krogan manage to adapt so quickly?
Did the Krogan evolve? Or did some of their scientists develop a treatment?
Krogan scientists? Never met Krogan scientist worthy of term. No. Natural evolution. Krogan physiology incredibly durable. Organ redundancy, backup systems, cellular regeneration. Genophage like any other natural hazard. Krogan evolved past it.
Alright, an interesting situation that we can now once again respond to with a morality choice, and we'll keep it Paragon, even though I'm not entirely sure this is actually good news.
The genophage was a terrible mistake. It nearly destroyed the Krogan and their culture. Now they have a chance to recover.
Naive viewpoint. Krogan too dangerous to allow unchecked birth rate. Look at Krogan rebellions. Personally led a science team. Geneticists, chemists, sociologists, mathematicians. Created new version of genophage. Released it on Tuchanka, other Krogan-centric areas. Restabilized Krogan population.
Alright, at least it seems like the situation is under control, but of course this begs the question how a team of Solarians got so close to the Krogan in the first place.
How did you distribute the modified genophage?
Covert drops, hospitals, clan centers, water supplies. Very difficult. Few Solarians on Tuchanka. Team got caught a few times. Had to fight free. Messy. Better when things went as planned.
Of course, we now also want to know how the modification works, just to make sure there are no unforeseen consequences.
How did your genophage modification work?
Krogan evolution attached garbage genetic code to genophage attack sites. Modification created other areas for garbage code to connect. Left sites clean, capable, running smoothly.
At this point, we can now also ask a slightly more loaded question, because if an increasing Krogan population is indeed such a major threat, then at least in theory there are other, more drastic measures available.
If the Krogan are so dangerous, why not just sterilize them outright?
Not a war criminal, not a murderer, genocide, unnecessary. Krogan as a whole, violent, aggressive, still have outliers, worth saving. Genophage modification protected galaxy, allowed Krogan chance to survive. Everyone wins. Good for us, good for them.
And of course I am inclined to agree with Mordin here. Still, let's make absolutely sure this decision does not come back to haunt him.
You never considered other options?
Hundreds, thousands. Modified genophage offered best outcome. Stabilized population, avoided publicity that could incite Krogan anger, averted potential genocide or devastating war. Best solution for whole galaxy, Krogan included.
Wrapping the conversation up, we now have one more chance at morality points, and this time all three options give us something. And I would think Shepard is smart enough to understand that he does not really understand the whole situation and the science involved, so it's probably not his place to judge Mordin's decision, and so instead we'll be a good superior and thank him for telling us.
I doubt you told many people about this, Mordin. I appreciate you letting me know.
Wanted you to know I'm willing to do what's necessary. Should get back to work. Talk more later. Next time tissue synthesis has to compile. Good for free time.
Right, 6 Paragon points earned and quite a bit of sensitive information gained, and we will come back to that in due time. For now though, let's continue the tour with a talk to Kelly Chambers.
How is our newest Turian crew member doing? His injuries looked painful.
Now we could play it off, which is probably what Garrus would do, but I think especially with Kelly it might make sense to be honest, and honestly things have not been easy for Garrus lately, which might be reason enough to be concerned.
He's been through a lot, and not just physically.
There's something about him. I just want to hold him close and whisper, "It will be all right."
Right, we could now once again flirt with Kelly here or tell her to back off, but this is about Garrus and we won't turn his pain into our pleasure, so let's instead simply ask Kelly about her preference for aliens.
Are you attracted to other species?
Well, part of my job is predicting the motives and feelings of humans and aliens. Intimacy brings understanding. And passion is nice wherever you find it. Character matters, not race or gender. Anything else, Commander?
Wonderful, it looks like Kelly does not discriminate, and with that we can already leave her again.
That'll be all.
I'll be here if you need anything. Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Well then, let's quickly make a stop here and read those. The first message we can find here is an old one from Captain Anderson, so we move on to the next, and this one is new, and it comes from Cerberus Command, giving us our first minor mission for Cerberus. If you want to, you can of course pause here to read through the entire thing. To sum it up, some Eclipse mercenaries have apparently captured a Cerberus operative, and we are now being asked to travel to the planet Lorak, from where the operative needs to be rescued. Plain and simple, we'll keep it in mind, but we also have a few more messages to go through. Up next, we have a message from someone named John Whitston, and reading through it, it is revealed that this is the guy that we stopped from signing up with the mercenaries back on Omega. John tells us that he was pretty disappointed at first, but also soon changed his mind when he saw how Archangel, with our help of course, decimated the mercenaries. The message here is just to say thanks, and honestly, I think we did the right thing. One final message then from the clinic on Omega, this one sent by Mordin's former assistant Daniel, who also thanks us for saving him from the Batarians, and who also gives us a quick rundown of the situation in the clinic, which after distributing the cure for the plague has noticeably improved. That is of course great to hear, and also the last new message we have in our inbox. The next one from Dr. Chakwas has been read already, and so has the one regarding Zaeed Masani, who we have already recruited, and we also already know about the Normandy crash site as well. So let's mark them all as read and continue on. With the message from Cerberus, we have just obtained another quest, and as we now head towards the cockpit, we can also catch up on some recent developments in the galaxy.
I heard about Ferris Fields. Any news on your brother?
He's gone. They're all gone. But we'll get them back.
Shepard and Lawson are on it. We'll get your brother back. And make sure the collectors pay for taking him.
Alright, keep the name Ferris Fields in mind, we will hear more about it soon. For now though, we'll hear from everyone's favorite pilot.
Hey Commander, we got Garrus back! That's great, cause he was totally my favorite. With that pole up his ass.
And we are not going to honor that with a response, instead a quick status report is all we want.
I assume everything is going well up here?
We're just having an argument over personalization of my workspace.
Cerberus regulations are clear, Mr. Moreau. Personalization does not include grease on my bridge cameras.
It's just mad that all its footage of me looks like a dream sequence.
I see no need for us to get involved in those shenanigans, so let's simply make a quick exit.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Alright, and that is now everything on this deck taken care of. We have learned about Jacob's past intertwinement with Miranda, Mordin revealed some pretty incriminating stuff about the genophage, and it seems like another human colony by the name of Ferris Fields has disappeared as well.
No messages for you, Commander.
And we will actually be able to hear a bit more about that as we now travel down to the crew's quarters, where we can once again listen in on two of our crew members.
Another colony's gone missing.
Ferris Fields, I heard. That's not far from New Canton. Did your family get back to Earth?
Not yet. My mother-in-law's given us grief. Operative Lawson assures me the transport team will physically drag them away if need be.
And the events on Ferris Fields seem to have the crew shaken a bit, because as we head over to the main area here, we can listen in on another conversation.
Did you hear? Another colony went missing. Ferris Fields.
Ferris Fields? Didn't Hadley have a brother stationed there?
Yeah, he's taking it pretty hard.
Right, so the collectors seem to be busy at work, and we should keep that in mind as we now have a quick chat with Dr. Chakwas.
Commander, I very much enjoyed sharing that ice brandy with you. But I hope I wasn't too unprofessional. Brandy goes straight to my head.
Now we want to make sure to pick the option on the top left here, as this will soon allow us to gain additional morality points.
It's nice to see you let your hair down.
Guess I hadn't realized how much those feelings needed airing. But I didn't give you much of a chance to vent. So tell me now, what do you think?
And here we are with a choice to make, and as usual we will go with the Paragon option, which is the one at the top.
Everyone's depending on us. We won't let them down.
They just don't make them like you anymore, Shepard. Well, promise me we'll share a bottle every year. The next one is on me.
Right, here we are, 2 Paragon points earned, and I think it is now time we talk to our newest crew member, who we can find in the back with the main battery, where we can also unlock 2 codex entries and get some additional information from Edie.
What's this area of the ship?
The gunnery control station. The ship's batteries are controlled from here. The Combat Information Center operators send targeting information here. The CIC decides who to shoot. Gunnery control decides how to shoot.
Shepard, need me for something?
Now, we haven't talked much to Garrus yet since he joined us, so let's be thorough and start with the investigate tree. And first and foremost, I think it would be good to know how Garrus is settling in.
Have the Cerberus crewmen given you any trouble?
I think being part of the team that took down Saren got me some points. Everyone I talked to was polite anyway. Don't worry, Commander. We're all working together.
Now, since Garrus has taken up residence in the gunnery control station, he should probably also be able to give us a rundown of the Normandy's weapon systems.
What can you tell me about the Normandy's armaments?
Looks like Cerberus upgraded what the ship carried before. Should have a bit more kick. I still don't like our chances against a collector ship, though. Not unless we upgrade the guns.
And I would say that is now our cue to ask Garrus about potential upgrades.
Have you got any upgrade ideas for the Normandy's weapon systems?
A few, yeah. Here, take a look.
And this has now unlocked a new upgrade for the Normandy, as we can now find the particle cannon on the ship enhancements. However, at least for the time being, we cannot afford it.
Let me know when you've got the materials for me to upgrade our guns.
And with that, we have now completed all of the investigate options, so let's get a bit more personal.
Have you got a minute?
Sure. Just checking the weapon systems. You can never be too careful. I thought I'd seen every weapon in the galaxy in our fight against Saren. Mercenary work showed me otherwise. And now Cerberus rebuilds the Normandy with a few upgrades to boot. I wish we joined up with them sooner.
Right, first and only morality choice in this conversation. And once again, we are going Paragon, but also because I think Shepard is very keen on clarifying his working relationship with Cerberus.
We haven't joined Cerberus. They're funding our mission, that's all.
Relax, Shepard. Just a figure of speech. I can't exactly doubt your judgment. Not after I got my own squad killed.
And now a new investigate tree has opened up, and since Garrus just mentioned his crew, let's start learning a bit more about them.
Tell me about your squad.
There were 12 of us, including me. Former military operatives, CSEC agents, the usual. Had a Solarian explosives expert. Pretty sure he'd spent time in the Special Tasks Group. My tech expert was a Batarian, believe it or not. Not the friendliest guy, but he could hack any system ever built.
I think it also makes sense to ask about the squad's activities. After all, we only stumbled in once the conflict between them and the mercenaries had escalated.
What did your merc squad do? It didn't sound like you were available for hire.
You saw Omega. It was full of thugs kicking the helpless. I formed my team to kick back. We weren't mercenaries. At least nobody was paying us. We made money by taking down slavers, pirates, or gangs that went too far.
And to be honest, that doesn't sound too different from the activities of the groups he took down.
It sounds like you were just another gang.
Then I'm saying it wrong. We didn't shake anyone down. No civilian casualties. That was our rule. Every member of my team had lost someone to Omega's gangs. We weren't out to get rich. We were out to make those bastards think twice before murdering someone in the street.
Right, that clarifies things a bit, and I would also say it explains how Garrus ended up in the situation that we found him in.
Doesn't sound like you made any friends with the gangs.
I got 3 separate merc bands to work together to take me down. My manager at CSEC would be impressed. It was simple. We'd hit their shipments, disrupt activities, get under their skin, make them angry. They'd come charging right into our well-prepared kill zone, crossfire and snipers, clean and surgical. They never stood a chance.
Now, with Garrus' squad activities explained, we are still left in the dark a bit, at least when it comes to Garrus' own role in all of this, because if you remember back in episode 2 of this playthrough, we had a quick chat with the Elusive Man, who was also only able to tell us that Garrus went off the radar.
How'd you end up fighting mercenaries here on Omega?
I went back to CSEC after the Normandy was destroyed, but with all the rebuilding at the Citadel, there was too much chaos for me to really help. Omega was filled with criminals nobody else could touch, and there was no red tape to slow me down. It was a perfect fit. People here needed someone to believe in, someone to stand up to the local thugs.
That explains how you started. How'd you end up with a squad?
Not too different from how you formed your squad to fight Saren, actually. You prove that you get things done, and people join up. Mercs who wanted to atone. Security consultants tired of playing by the rules. I gave them hope. And now they're dead. Shows what I know.
Now, from what we've heard so far, it seems like Garrus had quite the capable team, which of course begs the question how all of them except for Garrus ended up dead.
How did those mercenary gangs take down your team?
It was my own damn fault. One of my people betrayed me. A Turian named Sidonis. He drew me away just before the mercs attacked my squad. Then he disappeared. Everyone except me is dead because of him. And because I didn't see it coming.
All of this still remains a bit vague, so let's try to clarify what exactly Sidonis did.
I'm not sure I understand. What happened exactly?
Sidonis asked for my help on a job. When I got to the meeting point, nobody was there. By the time I got back to our hideout, the mercs had killed all but 2 of my squad. And they didn't last long.
And still, this seems like it could have been an odd coincidence, so let's once again dig a bit deeper.
Are you sure it was a betrayal? Maybe they took Sidonis out first.
No. I put out feelers with some old contacts. He booked transport off Omega just before the attack. He also cleared out his private accounts before he left. He sold me out and ran.
Right then, and I suspect since Garrus has already asked around, he is now looking to find the guy.
Do you know where Sidonis is now?
No. His trail vanishes after he leaves Omega, but I'll keep hunting. I lost my whole team except for Sidonis. One day I'll find him and correct that. Thanks for coming by, Shepard. I've got some things to take care of.
Okay, that is our first long conversation with Garrus completed. Things already hint at a bit of a revenge story, but we'll get back to that in due time. For now, we can already leave the deck again. Miranda has nothing new to say to us at the moment, and so we will now be heading down to engineering, where another new squad member is waiting for us who we haven't talked to yet, and of course I'm talking about our veteran mercenary Zaeed.
Thinking about past missions. Got a minute? You might learn something. So you knew Archangel from before? Interesting. Knew a lot of men taking jobs to kill the son of a bitch. I never saw the point. You know, I wanted the same thing. A whole lot of mercs dead. Hell of a sniper, though. And he kept himself alive with all the mercs in Omega after him. That ain't easy. I was trying to remember how many Cerberus operatives I've killed. Lost track around 50. Guess your elusive man's big on forgiveness. I should let you go.
Now, Zaeed already had a few things to say and there is more conversation to be had here, but first let's interact with a few of the objects in the cargo bay, starting off with the garbage compactor, which we can use to handily blast some garbage out into space. Afterwards, we can now get a few more lines from Zaeed as we interact with various objects of interest.
Beauty, isn't it? Pried that off the Krogan warlord, Kazak. Used to run the blood pack out of Omega about 17 years ago. Wasn't even a job. The guy just thought he'd hijack a freighter I was hitchhiking on. Big mistake. I goaded Kazak into one-on-one combat. Took out his legs, grabbed his gun, and killed every blood pack bastard in the room. That was the most beaten Krogan I've ever seen. Kept a helmet to remind me of that pained expression. Oh yeah, that's a model of the Veracon. Turian frigate. Hell of a ship. I led a mission to bring that thing down from the inside with just 5 men and whatever guns we could bring. No chance of success, but we did it. Everyone died but me. So I made out like a bandit. My first impossible mission as an independent contractor. There's been many since, but nothing so goddamn sweet as watching that Turian warship crash planetside. Hey, don't touch. That rifle's older than you are. I call it Jesse. That's my lucky charm. More men have been killed with that gun than died in the Skillian Blitz. The day I laid her to rest was the saddest day of my life. I'd give up every weapon I own for one more mission with that shitty old rifle.
Right, that was a pretty lopsided conversation, I'd say. Still, we got some sort of insight into what makes Zaeed tick, and before we leave we can now also cycle through some surveillance camera feeds, as it looks like Zaeed is making sure that no one pays him a surprise visit. And at least for the moment, this now also wraps up our conversations here on board of the Normandy. As promised, we will now once more return to Omega to have a quick chat with Aria and to buy some more equipment.
No messages for you, Commander.
Now we have seen the docking sequence multiple times, so we'll skip ahead to squad selection, and we will take 2 of the squad members that we recruited here on Omega, in Garrus and Mordin. Now, after the last mission, we once again leveled up, and that means we now have 2 squad points to spend, for Shepard at least, and we could now use those to either get another rank of Disruptor ammo, which would increase our stopping power against synthetic enemies, or we could upgrade our Adrenaline Rush ability. And that is also exactly what we'll do. I would say it's one of the most useful abilities we have at the moment. The upgrade here will reduce the ability's cooldown, and since we mainly use it with our sniper rifle, that is immensely useful. This upgrade now also unlocks the Concussive Shot ability, but we'll get to that at a later stage in the game. Up next, we have Mordin with 4 points to spend. Yes, we saved up on purpose and can now finally max out and evolve the Solarian Scientist ability. Both upgrades here give a 25% health bonus. The Solarian Genius then focuses a bit more on upgrading his shields, while the Solarian Savant upgrades weapon damage. and especially on Insanity difficulty I have found that a good offense is oftentimes the best defense. All in all, I admit there is not too much of a difference between these two upgrades, but I would prefer Mordin to hit slightly harder and not get hit himself in the first place, than to be able to withstand a bit more fire, which honestly on this difficulty setting is not going to change much. And with that same mindset, we now move on to Garrus, who hasn't seen a single upgrade yet, and will therefore see some work on his Turian Rebel ability. That ability is going to increase his health, weapon and power damage, and at level 4 it can also be evolved. And the choice is once again largely between defense and offense. The Turian Renegade focuses mostly on weapon and power damage, while the Turian Survivor gives the same amount of power damage bonus but reduces weapon damage for increased health. And again, I would prefer us to not need additional defense, but especially with Garrus I think Renegade is the right choice, because Garrus also makes for a very good sniper, and in that role he will of course need to make every shot count, so the increased damage output should be pretty useful. Now weapon-wise, we'll leave everything as it is, we won't have any combat for the rest of the episode, and then again there aren't many changes we can make in the first place.
Judging by the quarantine reports, the plague has been completely eradicated, Shepard. I have also run searches for reports on Archangel. The various mercenary groups appear to believe that he is dead.
Works for me.
Out of the docking area, we now head straight into the Afterlife Club, because if you remember, in the previous episode we picked up a pretty incriminating datapad from mercenaries, which revealed some of the mercenaries' plans to go after Aria. Since we no longer have a need for the mercenaries and have also decimated the numbers quite a bit, I think Aria should now be very interested in what we uncovered.
What do you need?
And there is in fact really only one thing we came here for, and that is the datapad that I just mentioned.
This datapad was on one of the mercs that was after Archangel. They were coming for you next.
Let me see. Interesting. Would someone like to tell me how this information slipped the net?
I'll look into it.
You've done a lot for me, Shepard. Let me return the favor. We're sending your coordinates to a cache on an uncharted world. You want it? It's yours.
Now, in Mass Effect, declining a reward is always a good Paragon choice, so we're going to do that. But don't worry, it actually won't change anything about the outcome. We will get the same reward regardless. The only difference is that we now get 2 Paragon points on top.
I'm not looking for payment from you.
Look at you. So proud. Whatever you find is yours to deal with.
Right, and that already concludes our business with Aria. We will have a look at the cache at some point down the line, but for now we can make our exit.
Thanks. Maybe I'll come back later.
Why don't you find a nice girl to keep you warm in the meantime? You look like you need to loosen up a little.
Right, wonderful. We have earned 40 XP and 2 Paragon points for completing this small conversation. We have also received some coordinates to a location that will hopefully hold a nice reward for us, and that means we can now proceed with the last to-do of this episode, and that is to do some shopping. Now, we have already visited all of Omega's merchants once, back in episode 4, but back then we didn't have enough credits to buy everything they had for sale. That has changed now, and we are ready to sufficiently clear them out, and with Garrus in the squad we can even get a quick line in before we do.
Walking around in this place makes me sick. People still dying, the strong still exploiting the weak. Nothing I did here even made a dent in this.
Right, our first shop is right around the corner. It looks like Ken here still hasn't left yet, but even if he did, we would be able to shop here, and we will purchase everything we haven't bought yet, and that would be another heavy weapon ammo upgrade,
This is valuable.
as well as a damage upgrade for shotguns. Combined, those 2 upgrades already run us at a cost of 75,000 credits, so it's a good thing we don't have to buy much more. Up the stairs and to the right we will now enter the main market area, but over here in the back there are no shops that we can actually interact with, and if we make a turn we will now also pass by the Omega market, because we have emptied that out already. That leaves us with only one more destination, and that's Herod's Emporium around the corner to the left here, where we can now make our final purchase in the hack module.
This looks interesting.
Once again, I think this item is largely useless. Still, this is a completionist playthrough, so we won't leave it behind. And here we are, that is everything taken care of on Omega. At the moment there is absolutely nothing more we can do here. We have recruited everyone there is to recruit, we have completed every available quest line, and we have bought or otherwise uncovered every available item. That means we can now head back to the Normandy, and for the first time in this playthrough watch the exit cutscene, as for a change we fly away from the station and not towards it. And here we are now with another episode completed and ready for new adventures. Now we have a few more dossiers regarding potential new squad members, but there are also some minor missions that we could now take care of. For example, we could make a stop at the Normandy's crash site, or we could do the mission for Cerberus that we received earlier in the episode. Let me know what you would like to see next in the comments below, and of course, if you liked the episode, then I would be happy if you could leave a thumbs up, or if you want to support the channel further, then you can either subscribe if you haven't already, or support the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.